Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Banrisul video conference to discuss results relative to the third quarter of 2023. This video conference is being recorded and the replay may be accessed in the company's website in our investors relationships area. The presentation will be divided in two parts. Our CEO, Fernando Lemos, will present the main highlights and figures of this quarter. Then we'll have a Q&A session in which analysts and investors will be able to interact with the bank board of directors. So let me tell you that this session has simultaneous translation into English. Please feel free to choose English in the interpretation button. If you want to use the audio to make a question, press on reaction to hand. If your question is answered, you can leave the queue by clicking on drop hand. This presentation here today will be available for download in this platform chat in our investor relations website. Now, Mr. Fernando presentation. Please, Mr. President, you can go on. Thank you, Nathan. Welcome to our video conference to discuss results. My name is Fernando Guerreiro de Lemos. On August the 1st, I took office as the CEO of Banrisul. This will be the third mandate in our bank. From 2003 to 2010, during this period, Banrisul has evolved in many aspects, like the IPO happened in 2007. Some years went by and I could follow the transformation of Banrisul in one of the main financial institutions in Rio Grande do Sul. Today, I take the office of this bank as the CEO to accelerate the digital transformation, improving processes, and improving our customers' experience in the several channels of service we make available for the sustainable growth of this bank. Have a very good connection, a strong connection in our bank with a committed team towards better results with many challenges ahead. We know we will be sailing with safety, identifying and capturing the best opportunities so our business can prosper. So I'm bringing to this board of directors a group that stands out for high quality professionals, all with very important careers in our area. Now let's talk about the highlights of the third quarter in the 9 months of 2023. We achieved an adjusted net income of 567 million, a growth of 7% if compared to last year, reflecting the growth in financial margin and services provided by the bank. In terms of the same period, we had more provisions to credits, more accruals to credits, and more administrative expenses due to, for example, the collective wage. One of the highlights was the rural investment with more than 60% growth in 12 months and 8% in 3 months. We diversified even more our portfolio in the beginning of the drop cycle of Selic rate. In this 9 months of 2023, there was a growth of 5.2% with a very good result considering 8% increase in salaries and benefits according to the collective wage. We had the first part of the strategy to increase relationship with our players. Revenues from taxes and services grew above inflation with a highlight with credit and cards services. On portfolio balance, there was an increase in the balance and in credit mix, with a highlight to the rural portfolio, which accounts for 60.1%, resulting from several advances in the relationship with the agribusiness. In individual clients, we still have in our credit balance some growth in payroll loans year to year or quarter to quarter, I'm sorry, 1.1%, in consumer loans plus 8.3%. There was a 78.5% increase in the collateralized individuals portfolio as of September 2023. Now, for companies, we've been operating with the building of new credit operations, which has affected our performance in our quarter. Regarding the quality of our portfolio, the total default rate is very low according to expectations, and expenses with provisions that showed an increase based on, if compared to the previous quarter, showed an increase. With this, credit cost is 2.66%, above our expectation for the end of the year. In the third quarter, there was 127 million of net profits impacted due to more credit accruals and legal provisions, more financial margin, and more administrative expenses. There was a drop in the quarter-to-quarter income, but if you consider the 9-month period, there was a 7% growth. We want to increase the profitability of the bank closer to our previous achievements, and this is our commitment. The financial margin is still growing with a positive evolution in all, practically or virtually all types of services, due to the credit mix and the beginning of a drop in interest rates. There was a lower credit recovery, which is stable if you consider the treasury credit margin, the core activities of this bank. On our fundraising services, we captured 5.7%, reflecting the growth in bonds and completed services. There was pulverized fundraisers. 90% are in individuals or small, medium-sized companies. That is the trust of the clients who decide to put their money in a solid and robust company such as Banrisul. So our prices are very competitive. The trust that clients have in our bank is one of the highlights of our service. Here we have as the main effect last year's collective wage of 8%, and in September there was an increase of 4.5%, which will go on until next year. There was also a voluntary dismissal program, and with the new staff, this made us achieve a balance. Regarding services and fees, there was a difference basically due to a reclassification of credit services which were allocated to our operating services that will now be considered under this target. If you discount inflation, revenue from fees and services, there was showed an increase both in the 9-month period and the quarter. The Basel ratio is stable. This level of growth in capital change makes us believe we can achieve the results we aim at. Now I give the floor back to Nan, so we'll start our Q&A session. See you later. So welcome, Luis Gonzalez Veras Motas, Finance Director and RI Officer, President Lemos, Risk Officer, Dr. Irani, who remains for another office, and also Werner, who is Accounting Superintendent. So this will also be our annual public meeting along with APIMEC, the Brazilian Association of Analysts and Capital Markets Professionals. This is our public event, so considering this, before we go into our Q&A session, I would like to acknowledge APIMEC. They have several professionals and help us to develop open capital companies. So for this acknowledgement and interaction, I'd like to call APIMEC's representative, Mrs. Mara Limonde. Hello, Mara. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your partnership. Lemos has just mentioned the IPO in 2007. So this partnership we have is celebrating its 16th year. We are here uh, giving Banrisul this attendance stamp, this partnership stamp since 2007 in this partnership between um, analysts and capital market professionals in open capital companies. We've had this commitment since then. Thank you for this partnership and congratulations on this stamp. This represents how transparent and clear the information is and provides to capital market professionals. Let me just say that it's important to mention that we are open for the IBRI APIMEC Brazil Award that will give awards to the best RI teams and the best analysts of the year. So this is important for investors relations analysts. It's important that you vote for this award that will recognize investors relationships analysts in this market. So once again, thank you for this platinum stamp. And once again, thank you for this partnership. Welcome this new board of directors, Lemos, Werner, Nathan, all of you here. Congratulations. I wish you success in this journey ahead. I hope this journey is full of good partnership with the market and a very successful one. Thank you so much. So the physical stamp is being given to you right now. Now we can see this stamp electronically. And well, and once again, Nathan, back to you with the Q&A session. Thank you, Mara. It's a pleasure to see you once again. We started back then, so I'm happy to see you again. It's my pleasure. Thank you for the partnership, Mr. Lemos. Thank you, Mara. All the best. Well, now we will open our Q&A session, and we have some analysts in line. We'll open the floor for them to open their mics, and we also have questions in our chat, and we will soon answer them. So the first question comes from Yuri from JP Morgan. Please, Yuri, you can turn on your mic and go ahead. Good morning. Thank you, Nata. Welcome the new board of directors. I wish all the best and luck. Well, considering the strategic standpoint, can you talk about your ambitions for the bank? I believe this is a weak quarter 5 of ROAE. So what are your expectations for this year? 9 to 11, 9 to 13 ROAE for the next year, right? And for this year. And in the future, what do you expect? You've talked about digitalization, but besides that, how can you see the situation, the status of Banrisul in the medium term and long term? Maybe try to get to 14, 15%. Okay, so later I would like to make more questions about the quarter, but this is my question to understand the new goals of this new board of directors, please. Hello, Yuri, good to see you. Well, we have just took office. We took office yesterday. I've been working here for the past 60 days in this new position, but we started working today. So we're checking the budget of the bank for next year. Once we get this consolidated, we'll give you more information. Okay, Yuri? Thank you. That's perfect. We'll be waiting, and all the best to you. I know that all of you know a lot about the bank, So I'm confident. Well, regarding the quarter, can you talk a bit about the PDD? It's higher, a little bit higher. We know there were more rain by the end of the quarter. Will that be a factor? Will that have an impact? So can we expect this line of provisions to keep on being high? So I would like to understand more about the cost of risk for the bank. Good morning, Yuri. Good morning. So the provision, the PDD, as we call, is a little above because of this default cycle, but the rains and climate events in Rio Grande do Sul have not affected the PDD or the allowance for doubtful debts. We have some portfolios still above what we expected, but we have a strong task force with all the branches and all the teams in the bank, in our network, to bring this allowance for doubtful debts, this PDD, to a lower status. So we've been working to stabilize this, uh, uh, this and even lower this. So in terms of agribusiness, well, there is commercial uh, companies uh, debts and some other debts, but in general, we have this task force, as I said, to bring this rate to a lower level, more to the left of our uh, goals. That's very clear. Thank you. Well, this quarter, when you look at credit cards, but not related to Banrisul, it was a credit cards of 20 millions, but now it's 50. What is that? Is this a recurring event? Sometimes we see some peers benefiting one flag, credit card flag or the other. So what can explain this increase in your fee this quarter? I can answer you this question, Yuri. There was a reclassification of accounts for this quarter, so diverse incomes from credit cards was within other operating revenue, but now they are in fees revenue. So the increase in this line is due to this accounts reclassification. Moving forward, we will probably see that with this new account, we must have a fees layer uh, higher in considering the face value. Any other operating revenues, there will be a reduction. It's around 30 million 30 million in this account. Oh, thank you. Yeah, for the quarter. Thank you, Nathan, and all the best to the new board of directors. Thank you, Yuri. Now the second question with Mr. Flavio Yoshida from Bank of America. Flavio, how are you? Hi, Nata. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations on this new position, this new office, all the best. Now, regarding the growth of the portfolio, it has been decreasing. It's the annual growth quarter after quarter. So which are the signs, in your opinion, which are the signs you are anxious to see to accelerate growth and maybe and have a, a product mix with a higher spread? Because over 90 default rate is stable, coverage is more or less high. So how can you accelerate this appetite for growth? Hello, Flavio. We are regarding portfolio operation is not very accelerated, but because we are refinancing our portfolio, especially when it comes to a service in consigned credits and consigned services. This is a basic idea. So other portfolios, such as the rural portfolio, will not have as high of a growth as they had. They will be in stagnated a little bit. We'll have other portfolios with a moderate growth, and we'll focus on commercial and companies portfolios, especially focused on medium and small-sized companies, especially regarding portfolios that are stable with a higher margin. This is what we aim to do. Just complement what Gonzaga said, you know that we always choose between grow and consolidate. So the bank had a significant period of growth recently, and now we are consolidating all this growth, focusing on results. So as soon as we consolidate this focus on results, we will be once again discussing growth, especially in companies, small companies and medium-sized companies again. Thank you. And how can you see competitions and rate caps dropping in consigned credit? How do you see this? Let me insist a bit on what we said. We have focused on the repricing of our portfolio. We have a balance that is pretty proper. We now need to generate margin and consolidate this operations to grow our margin. And we need to change the pricing of our current portfolio to do that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Flavio. Just quickly, please raise your hands if you want to use the microphone, or you can submit your questions using the Q&A window, okay? Now there's a new question coming from Eduardo Nishio from Genial Investimentos. Nishio, good morning. Thank you, Nata. Fernando Gonçalves, Irani Werner, everyone, good morning. Regarding the guidance, you maintain the guidance, right? And if we infer on that, even if for the lower tier, the fourth quarter would need to be very strong in terms of ROAE. To get there, the fourth quarter would need to be very strong. So my question is, how do you feel about the fourth quarter? How confident you are? And now, regarding the third quarter, have you had any non-recurrent event you'd like to talk about? Because the profitability of the bank has dropped, the ROAE has dropped. So have you gone through any reclassification that you'd like to discuss in relation to the third quarter? In terms of recurring events, no, we've had no strongly recurring events. But regarding the guidance, we've been working, let's say, what is detached from the center of the goal is fundraising. We've been working very hard to reposition our clients, especially individuals or wealthy or bigger clients in this portfolio, because they have a fundraising capacity that is very important to Banrisul. And we've been working very hard to maintain this. This is an important strategy for us to keep these clients with us, especially considering the competition. and we've been working with this guidance. We are in 5.3. We want to reach above 6, and this is what we aim to do. Another point is that for the fourth quarter, we may enter the proposition of our goal in terms of profitability too. And regarding the other item, that is administrative expenses, now the payroll effect is gone, and this expense was executed in this quarter. So we are aiming to the left side of the goal, below the center of this operation. We want to improve this margin. We are confident that these guidelines will help us deliver results both in these both margins. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nishio. Oh, well, we have another question. It comes through the chat. Let me read this to you, okay? It's about a real estate portfolio from Marcus. He says, good morning. Are there any plans to expand real estate financing operations in more cities, especially in cities in the state of São Paulo? I mean, outside the state of Rio Grande do Sul? Well, we concentrate our business in Rio Grande do Sul, and we will continue to do that, especially in the real estate portfolio. This will be our focus here in the metropolitan area of Porto Alegre and in other big cities in the state of Rio Grande do Sul. We do not want to have operations outside the state. This is not our intention. Thank you, Marcos. If you have any other questions, please you can submit them in our RI team. Our relationships teams is available to answer your questions, okay? Well, I would like to, there's another question coming from Eric Ito from Bradesco BBI. Eric, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, the new board of directors. Regarding the NPL, so we had this write-off big effect here, and it was a high NPL ratio, but would you like to maintain in this 2 or drop for the next quarter? What about NPL? You're talking about default, right, Eric? Well, default is just like I said, there are economical cycles in which there is a strong action on credit, and when there's more credit, we may face default in the near future. Now we've been diagnosing the portfolios, and the idea, our goal is to work on these debts on our clients in default. We have more massified portfolios, and then you'll need to work harder to work on those clients on default. And we have other portfolios which are more standardized and they are easier to deal with. But anyway, we have a strong action focused on reducing default in this last quarter to improve this result. Just let me complement. It's very important to highlight that the bank will focus on collection operations. The bank has intelligence and has the team to be applied to this process of collection. And by doing that, we will reduce default and improve our results. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you, Eric. Another question from Mateus Rafaeli from Itaú BBA. Mateus, please. Thank you. Good morning. I would like to explore the NIM recovery strategy. You've had some recovery, but there is a pressure in the funding. There is a pressure from the mix. It's migrating to the agro. What about next year? Does it make sense to work on expansion, or should we wait for it to stabilize? I mean, this mix change to stabilize. This will help, may help in the funding too. Well, regarding, well, let's talk about real estate funding. First of all, as we know, I mean, the savings fundraising has a very slow growth. So if the real estate portfolio wants to grow, we need to look for other sources. It has a stability in the portfolio growth if they are matched with the funding resources. Well, capital, they are more on the accounts of automatic CDBs, captured from the mass of clients. So there is no funding space for rural credit deposit. There are other fundings, we've been working on them, but the creditor portfolio will not continue with this accelerated growth. There will be a qualification and a certain stability. Other portfolios such as exchange, if there is a competitive price, then yes, considering the price, because it's too high for rural now, we need to consider this for this operation, because the client has to understand the risks involved. Regarding commercial area, we have a large funding that is competitive too. It's not cheap. There is no cheap credit, but it's very good for commercial credit portfolio. This goes to the payment deducted loans and for other lines of credits and services to clients. There is a massified portfolio that is very important with small amounts in this segment. And as Irani said, with small and medium-sized companies, this is where we want to grow in credit. For this portfolio, there is a good price of funding, there is good funding, and need to qualify the risk of this operation for borrowers and consider this to build these, keep on building these portfolios. Others will have a moderated growth according to the fund and the category of risk. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mateus. I believe, well, there's a final question here in our chat. It comes, I mean, it's a recurring question from our investors, our individuals, investors. Sandro asks, what is the payout expectation for 2024? Is the idea to maintain current levels, so 50 payout for 2023? In 2022, we maintained this level. And the main point here, Sandro, is that we do not have access to the complete budget yet, both considering capital and the company's budget to be set. But would you like to talk a little more about that? But I would say that we need to evaluate, wait for the budget and evaluate the possibilities for 2024 and the availability of capital for that. And also regarding the fiscal aspect, as Gonzaga said, there is a discussion regarding the end of JCB's availability and how much this can generate. It must be within the analysis to approve the 2024 payout. It normally is around February or March. This is more or less when we announce this payout. And then it's also approved in our shareholders meeting. Okay, Sandro. Oh, that is, I think we've had answered all questions. I would like to thank you all for your participation. I would like to thank Mara from APIMEC and the investors. The investors relations team is available to you. Please talk to us in our website And before we close this meeting, I would like to give the floor to our CEO so he can wrap up our event here. I would just like to thank all the shareholders, the market analysts with us. It's a pleasure to see many of you here again. I'm pretty glad to be back at this great institutions. We'll work hard so we can achieve a very good result. We want to achieve these very good results. Line for line, we will be working very hard and we hope to achieve fast and robust success. Thank you all very much.